Let's speak about Lordstown Motors, baby. What is happening, investors? It is your boy Jack. I am not a financial advisor. Look, I got the clothing line to prove that fact, baby. Look what it says. And today, we are speaking about Lordstown Motors. So Lordstown Motors had a pretty much 12.5% dip on Friday. It was an absolutely huge pullback. And there are two primary reasons for this, okay? One is this photo show aftermath of endurance prototype fire. And we're going to go through this article and you will literally see our beloved endurance truck burst into flames. And obviously this is, a normal part of the process. Well, not necessarily burst into flames, but you know what I'm saying. But of course, people seeing something like this, they're not going to like it whatsoever. But then furthermore, this also happened to Morgan Stanley once on an execution risk. So it was downgraded. Or it wasn't actually downgraded, sorry. They started off coverage with an underweight rating. So they're the two primary reasons that Lordstown Motors had that 12.5% dip, my friends. Now, let's keep in mind that this is during a quite considerable uptrend. We are also in this wedge. You will see we broke out above the wedge and we came right back down into it. We still did, we made a little bit of a higher highs. We made a little bit of higher lows. So there are the three things we're going to speak about today. We're going to speak about this price action, some interesting points to be looking towards early next week if we can expect some upward movement or some downward movement. We will have a look at this, see exactly what happened and why the endurance truck went up into flames. And we will see why Morgan Stanley analyst gives it an underweight rating, see what concerns they have. So my friends, right before we do get into the video, could I please ask you to hit that juicy like button? Maybe drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you think about all of this. Are you still holding all of your shares? Are you selling any? I personally am still holding absolutely everything. I got no plans on selling this company. And please, my friend, if you are indeed new around here, hit that juicy red subscribe button. We're trying to get to that 100,000 subscriber mark. Also, if you are interested in joining my private Discord group, that is the first link in the description. In there you get access to all of my buy and sell alerts. We initially bought Lordstown Motors the first day we found out it was going public via SPAC. We bought in the low 11s, I believe it was, and I have bought more since. You also get access to over 50 private channels. You get to join a community of over 2,500 investors. It is a juicy place. So with that being said, this is what I want to start it off with. A photo show the aftermath of the endurance prototype fire, and you can see it right here. Look at that, guys. There are more pictures as well, so obviously it's destroyed. Now what I think should be pointed out, okay, is that again, this is a prototype vehicle. This is not the vehicle that they would actually sell to customers. And this quite literally is a part of prototype testing. Now obviously this one did make it all the way onto the roads, which we will get into now, so it's not ideal whatsoever, but I mean, this happens with everyone. So a prototype of the Lordstown Endurance electric pickup truck caught fire during a road test in Michigan last month. This was back on January 13, 2021. So obviously a few more things have happened since then what we've been updated about. We know about the beta prototypes coming now. So when the officers arrived, the truck was engulfed in flame. Okay, the officer said he spoke with the vehicle driver, who identified himself as Director of Powertrain at Lordstown Motors Satellite Research and Development Centre in Farmington Hills. Pat Manathan explained to the police that the vehicle was a 2021 Lordstown Endurance that had clear testing inside the facility, and this was the first road test for the fully electric truck. So obviously, the first one didn't go well, but that's what these tests are here for. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. So according to the report, he said that he and two of his co-workers had been driving it for about 10 minutes when he noticed the truck was driving weird and pulled over when the fire started from underneath the truck. So late Monday, Ryan Hallett, of AutoFriends.com issued the following statement. We do not generally comment on individual testing conditions. However, we do want to acknowledge that on January 13th, we did have an event during a test with a development mule and not a full endurance pickup truck. No one was hurt, and like all of our test findings, we do it to create a great product. So very important to understand, it was a development mule, it wasn't a full endurance pickup truck, and nobody got hurt. Mule is the generic term used in the automotive industry to designate the very first prototypes used to test the design, technology, mechanics, body, etc. of a future model car. So again, this is not a product, obviously, that is going to be sold to all of the fleets, etc. And we know now, I had Steve Burns on the channel very recently for an interview, okay? Lordstown Motors is conducting the metal stamping and welding process for the first 57 beta prototypes of the Endurance and expects to complete the first beta vehicles on schedule in March. So these beta vehicles will be a very different story than that prototype that was on the road, and they're coming as early as March. Now, the next thing I'd like to touch off is this here. Lordstown Motors falls 6%. It actually ended up being about 12.5% after Morgan Stanley warns on execution risk, okay? So Morgan Stanley starts off coverage on Lordstown Motors with an underweight rating. Analyst Adam Jonas. Ride benefits from a nearly free plant acquired from GM and a highly experienced management team with a plan to enter the commercial pickup market. However, the company faces a flood of new competition in EV pickups from startups and legacy OEMs with far greater scale and distribution advantages. So after doing some very brief research into Adam Jonas, I've come to the understanding that he is actually quite a respected analyst. He's been bullish on Tesla for a long time by the looks of it, so he does seem to have some credibility to him. I will do some more research into this man, but I mean, the main 2 points we get right off the bat here, okay, are that the competition has far greater scale and distribution advantages. In the same breath, he brings up the incredibly large plant that we had that's in the most top 3 productive automotive plants in the US when GM were running it. So I mean, in regards to scalability, at least from a startup perspective, I mean, they are up there at the very, very top. I understand some of these legacy OEMs obviously have far greater scale and distribution. I would not dare to argue that at this stage of the company's life cycle. But the majority of them right now are still ICE focused, okay? We all know they're all speaking about EV, but let's be honest, they're a little bit behind with the times. And then in regards to distribution advantages, I do understand the point that's being made. I also do see Lordstown Motors taking action very early on. Look at Camping World, for example. So Jonas thinks the company's radical new hub motors technology is a good concept, but notes that it has never been commercialized at scale in the light vehicle market. And again, that's fair enough, but it's quite weird. Again, when I looked into this analyst, he's extremely bullish on Tesla, and I mean, nothing they've ever really done has been commercialized in the market. They've been the leaders, and I think that's what a lot of us expect Lordstown Motors to be, is a leader and is an innovator. But again, fair enough, I do understand the point. And after following a series of channel checks on the propulsion tech, the firm believes investors would be exposed to significantly elevated execution risk. And look, fair enough, I'm not gonna pick apart this point too much. The points I wanted to bring up I just did. $18 price target, I mean, look, I don't think it's going to happen. What I will say is when we go over to the charts, there is extraordinarily strong resistance at 18, and there happens to be a small gap from a very long time ago there. Now that has been filled in, but $18 is a really interesting price point on this chart. So it doesn't matter if I agree with this analyst or not, his words have a lot more weight than mine, obviously, and this did lead partially to the sell-off that we all saw. So that's one explanation. We have very often in the past seen analysts coming out and being bullish or being bearish, and it's short-term affecting the stock price. But ultimately, usually if it goes up or down 10% off the back of an article like this, it will fill in the gap somewhere along the line relatively quickly. So these are the two things. Look, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I know that, seeing pictures of an endurance truck on fire after bursting into flames is going to worry a lot of people, and it's obviously not a good thing. But I mean, you also have to keep in mind this did happen about a month ago. A lot has changed since then. They're obviously able to push forward with beta testing. So I mean, whatever happened here has been rectified. And again, I know this is scary to maybe somebody who is investing in their first EV stock or their first automotive related stock in general, but this is a normal part of the process. It did happen under not necessarily the most normal circumstances, but yeah, I'm not too worried about this one. And again, here we have an analyst. I mean, yeah, there's analysts for and against Lordstown Motors. There has been for a considerable period of time. Absolutely fine. I think what we saw on Friday was very much so an overreaction. But I would also say is I think we've seen several overreactions over the last couple of weeks with this stock, so it's not exactly surprising. Look at some of this price action, my friends. I mean, we just go back to the 11th of January right here. We made highs of 28.30 from lows of 21.50. That's an overreaction. And because of that, we came all the way back down before going up, before coming down, before going up, before coming down. So look, we could pick this chart to pieces. We could find a short-term resistance here. We could find a short-term resistance here. We could find a short-term resistance here. I'm not too worried about it. I'm not even too worried about this wedge, which is beautiful on that longer time frame. I think, okay, this particular short-term hit, this is the first time we kind of have nearly made lower lows. We didn't quite, but it got very close. So if we open up red tomorrow on Tuesday, that's when I expect potentially a little bit more of a pullback or some consolidation in this range of maybe 23 to 27-ish. If we open up green, however, I see no reason we cannot make another leg to the upside. What I'm essentially trying to get at is I think we're going to see another overcorrection. Either this downward one continue and we're going to break trends, we're going to break that upward movement, we're going to break the higher highs and the higher lows, or else we're going to reverse and just keep this little zigzag pattern going up, in all honesty. So that's what I'm watching for in the short term. I mean, even the smallest red opening or the smallest green opening I think is going to lead to a rather big move. Our next fairly prominent area area of support is actually a previous resistance at about 24.17. So that is definitely a price point to be watching. It's only about 10% away now. But anyway, my friends, that is my video on Lordstown Motors, my updated thoughts on what's going on. And again, I know a lot of people are worried. I'm really not whatsoever. If you watched this video all the way till the end, you, my friend, are a true legend, and I really do appreciate you being here from the bottom of my heart. Your support means the world to me. If you did enjoy, could I please ask you to hit that juicy like button, drop me that comment down below, and please, my friend, subscribe if you're new around here. And again, if you are interested in joining that private Discord group, it is the first link in the description, and it is a juicy community. All of my buy and sell alerts, over 2,500 investors in there. It's juicy. We make baguettes. And if you'd like those free stocks on Webull, that's the second link. Anyway, guys, I hope you all have a beautiful, blessed day. I'll see you in another video very soon. Peace.